Hi, in this tutorial we are going to have an exercise related to octet rule, lone pair electrons and formal charges. In the exercise we need to add any unshared electrons to give each element an octet in its valence shell in the formula below and indicate any formal charges. Let's start from the upper part. In the upper part we have three nitrogen atoms. In the middle part of the molecule, we have an oxygen atom, and in the lower part of the molecule, we have two nitrogen atoms that can have potentially lone pair or unshared electrons. Let's start from the upper part of the molecule, and in the upper part, I have this nitrogen atom. It has a double bond connection, meaning that it is surrounded with four bonding electrons, meaning that we should have two lone pair electrons, meaning that we should have four electrons in the two lone pairs to make it octet. In a middle nitrogen atom, it is already surrounded with 8 electrons in the bonding pairs because we have two double bonds, and in the two double bonds we have 8 electrons. It's surrounded with 8 electrons. It fulfills its octet. In this nitrogen, it's surrounded with a single bond and a double bond, meaning that it is surrounded with 6 bonding electrons, and we can have a lone pair to make it octet. And let's come to this oxygen. It is connected with a double bond, meaning that it is surrounded with four bonding electrons. We can have two lone pairs to make it octet. And in the lower part, this nitrogen is already surrounded with 8 electrons because we have two single bonds and we have one double bond, meaning that it is surrounded with 8 electrons. And the last one, this nitrogen is surrounded with 6 bonding electrons because we have a single bond and one double bond, meaning that it's surrounded with 6 electrons, so it should have a lone pair. So we placed all the unshared electrons, lone pair electrons. Now let's check the formal charges if present on any atoms. Okay, I'm going to start from the upper part of the molecule, from here, uh, because I can see that this nitrogen and the other nitrogen potentially can have formal charges. We know that when nitrogen is surrounded with three single bonds and a lone pair, it's neutral. Okay, if you calculate the formal charge based on the formula, let me start from the middle nitrogen. In the middle nitrogen, it is surrounded with 8 bonding electrons because it has two double bonds or four bonds. In the four bonds, we have 8 electrons, but half of these electrons belong to nitrogen. So this nitrogen is surrounded with four valence, four electrons. But we know that in the neutral state, nitrogen should be surrounded with 5 electrons. If it is surrounded with one less electron, meaning that it has a positive formal charge. Let's check the other nitrogen, this nitrogen. I'm going to rewrite here the bonding. So we have a nitrogen, we have two lone pairs. So I'm going to write a formula for the formal charge. It may be easier to follow with a formula. Formal charge, Fc, equals to number of valence electrons in the neutral state minus number of bonding electrons divided with 2, because half of the electrons belongs to that particular atom, minus number of lone pair electrons. Okay, now based on this formula, we know that nitrogen is in the neutral state, has 5 valence electrons, minus, for this particular case, we have two double bonds, meaning that we have 4 electrons in the bonding pair. So 4 electrons divided with 2, minus we have two lone pair electrons, meaning that we have 4 electrons as lone pair electrons. So 5 minus 2 minus 4, it's minus 1. So meaning that this nitrogen is surrounded with 6 electrons, meaning that it has one extra electron than its neutral counterpart. So for that reason, this nitrogen should have a negative formal charge. And if I check the other part, this oxygen, zero formal charge, it doesn't have any. And here I'm seeing this nitrogen has also a positive formal charge, because again it's surrounded with 8 bonding electrons, and half of them belongs to the nitrogen, and meaning that it has one less electron than its neutral counterpart, so meaning that it should have a positive formal charge. That's it. I think we don't have any other formal charges. Thank you so much for watching the video.